And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. It is Six Nations time, and it is the final time we will see these two run out for the Six Nations, or in the Six Nations this season. It is the second of 3 games today, and the Triple Crown up for grabs as well as a potential Six Nations title for Ireland. They need 2 points out of the game to secure that championship, whereas a win for either side will give them the Triple Crown. Both these sides having beaten England and Wales, so pretty cool to have that on the line for the day. But yeah, we're talking about Ireland versus Scotland, and Scotland, well, you know, I think they'll be sitting there thinking what could have been going into this game, because they could have been playing for the championship. They did then slip with that loss against Italy last week. I think they'll also look back, obviously, that victory, or the loss against Wales, where a single call made all the difference in that situation, and on a different day, a different call, and all of a sudden they'd be playing for the Six Nations in what would virtually be a Six Nations final. But not the case tonight, as Finn Russell and Peter O'Mahony lead their side out today. We're going to go through the team in just a little bit. Before we do that, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well, as we wait for the national anthems to get underway over at the Aviva Stadium. You still have a bit of time. Go and vote in the poll. Let me know who you think is going to win the game, and and also give you some score predictions. Put them in the comments as well. And yeah, let's sort of start settling and see exactly what we reckon is going to transpire over the next 2 hours or so. The second last game of the Six Nations, obviously, we've also got England versus France over in Lyon happening later tonight. We just seen, by the way, Italy beat Wales pretty comprehensively and in pretty epic fashion as well. So that score coming at 21 points to 24. Wales coming back. So I say, well, it was comprehensive, but towards the end. But in the end, it was a pretty easy victory, as I say, for Italy. But what a stage they've had. 2 wins for them. They're currently on 11 points. If Scotland were to remain scoreless, we're not getting any points out today, that actually finished level on points with Scotland, who on a different results, could have been playing for the Six Nations title today. So that shows you how Italy have improved. They currently sit on the same amount of points as France and Scotland, 1 point back from England. So they're there and thereabouts. Wales, on the other hand, 5 games, 5 losses, just 4 bonus points throughout the entire championship. So very much Six Nations for them to forget. We have had a couple of late changes. I'm just going to put my fan on. Right, so there are some changes to both sides, with Hugo Keenan being ruled out in the warm-up. As a result, Jordan Lamour will come into the side in number 15 jersey in a swap over there. And for Scotland, a change at reserve tight end Elia Miller-Mills has been ruled out. As a result, Javan Sebastian comes into the bench. So 2 changes for each side there, and the Irish national anthem currently underway, and then we will have some rugby action. Good evening, chat sport. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream, and to everybody else, welcome to the channel as well. If you are new, as I said, please do subscribe. Come and join us, join the community, and yeah, our last day of Six Nations coverage. Right, anthems just about finished up, and then we'll have kickoff. And I think this game, I'm hoping, is going to be a close one. You know, I think that Scotland have got lots to prove, and I think similarly, I think Ireland, after the talk last week, or the chat this week, has been, well, maybe they're not as good as they thought they were. A lot of narratives being creative and being thrown around. So I think they'll be out to prove that they very much are still, in their minds, one of the best teams, if not the best team in the world. And a big performance today will do, will just sort of add to those stocks. But Scotland, well, I fancy Scotland if they pitch up. Scotland remain a bit of a maverick side, where on a good day they can beat, I think, and push most teams in the world. On the bad day, however, we saw last week they can be beaten. And what a victory that was for Italy. Just really poor from Scotland, to be honest. In that second half, had to be better, and they weren't. So the question is, will there be takeaways from that game, and will we see an improved performance from Ireland? I think we will. My gut says that they will bounce back. Sorry, Scotland. And in terms of Ireland, yeah, well, I suppose, getting outplayed by England last week. So they be interested to see if Scotland sort of looked at it, how Scotland looked at that game and what they've taken away from that game, and whether they can implement some learnings from England and really push Ireland right to the end. Peter O'Mahony, by the way, in floods of tears, rumors about his retirement potentially, and this potentially being his last game. Not confirmed as far as I understand, but yeah, we've seen some rumors apparently circulating that this could potentially be his last game, or at least his last home game potentially. Yeah, so interested to see exactly what's going to happen there. But yeah, I think the fact that the tears of the last, I think that tells you quite an interesting story. Chat Sports saying if Scotland can keep it tight and cut out the big areas, they have a chance. I agree. I very much agree. I think the pack's going to have to stand up if they are going to do anything special to that. And obviously, we're going to have to see Finn Russell cooking. And that's what he does. Finn Russell, he is a magician of a rugby player, is the Messi of rugby. And let's see if we can see a Messi-esque performance today. So we go into the two sides. I'll start with the Irish side. In the front row, it's Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan, Tyke Furlong, Joe McCarthy, Tyke Byrne competing at tight 5. It's Peter O'Mahony, the captain, next to Josh van der Fleer and Caelan Doris. Tavis Gibson Park partnering up Jake Crowley in the halfback pairing. The rest of the back line reads out as James Lowe, Bundy Aki, Robbie Henshaw, Calvin Nash, Jordan Lamour, and then the substitute is Ronan Kelleher, Kian Healy, Finley Beelum, Ryan Bell, Jack Conan, Conor Murray, Harry Byrne, Gary Ringways. A 5-3 split. Good to see Gary Ringways back in the setup. If you look at Scotland, though, playing in the usual Navy, it is Pierce Grumman, George Turner, Xander Ferguson, Grant Gilchrist, and Scott Cummings in that tight 5. Andy Christie, Rory Dodge, Jack Dempsey in the back row. Ben White next to Finn Russell in the halfback pairing. He does return to the side as Ben White. Dylan van der Merwe, Carl Steyn, Blake Hingle in the usual back 3 of we've seen during the championship. And Stafford McDowell getting an opportunity today at inside centre. He's got Hugh Jones outside him. Off the bench, it is Ewan Ashman, Yavin, Sebastian, and Rory Sutherland in the front row. Sam Skinner, Matt Ferguson backing them up. George Horn, Cameron Redford, Carl Rowe competing the 23. Scotland with ball in hand. They are playing right to left with kickoff. And we officially do have kickoff as Finn Russell goes to the right-hand side over there. And it is St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, so you expect the Irish to really be up for it. Also, by the way, a 50th cap for Tyke Byrne. Incredible when you look at the way he's playing. Look at his age, for example, and think he's only played 50 times for Ireland. So what a play he is, and a good take there from Russell. Not the best to pass, but he does manage to get away to play King when he's drifting sideways here. But a space here for Scotland. Dylan van der Merwe being wrapped up by Bundy Aki. I think if Bundy Aki hadn't managed to make that tackle, I think that could have been really interesting. But a penalty there for Dan Sheehan at the breakdown. So good work from the hooker. Next to Malcolm Marx, in my opinion, is the best hooker in the world. All right, so going to the line there with Scotland, and you can just see doing a bit of a slightly isolated by the time he gets brought down, yeah. Dan Sheehan over there nice and quickly, grabbing that ball and in a very good position of strength. They're poor cleaning out, to be honest. So it needs to be a bit better there for Scotland. So not the best to start for them, but time for them to stand up here at the lineout. We expect to see Rolling Moore coming out here for Ireland. And expect to see the captain, Peter O'Mahony, very busy. It does go to Tyke Byrne. Bit of a messy line though, and it's going to pop up. And Tyke Furlong's managed to pop that ball back, and it's eventually fallen to Bundy Aki, who's been brought down by Rory Dodge, the co-captain for Scotland today. Jamison Gibson Park taking a bit of time. Going to Andrew Porter, his first carry of the day. Now down the right-hand side of Scotland, they're going to go. Caelan Doris, a little outside ball to Tyke Byrne, and it's a turnover. Finn Russell goes to the boot and goes down the left-hand side. They're running back there is Jordan Lamour, and gives it inside. No, in fact, this is Lamour here. And behind the gain line, Hugh Jones is a good tackle. And a big counter coming from Scotland. It was good work there from Stafford McDowell as well. Good chase for Scotland, pitting Ireland back to behind their 10-meter line. Gibson Park now goes down the left-hand side. Big Joe McCarthy will carry it up. That's a nice tackle on him. So far, some good physicality being shown by Scotland, which they're going to need to show consistently throughout the match if they are to compete. Gibson Park goes to the boot, lifts it high in the air. Be competitive. And Blair Kinghorn's going to come onto it. Blair Kinghorn, what a take it is. He's such a good player, as Blair Kinghorn. Scotland are a different backline when he's there. Now, George Turner is first carrier of the day. Expect that to be one of many. Presenting well for Ben White, who's going to look to go to the boot here on the halfway line of Scotland, almost sort of central of the park. And he lifts it up there. Carl Steyn will give chase. It does come off of Carl Steyn, so it'll be an advantage for a knock on here for Ireland. Gibson Park eventually going to Tyburn. He actually didn't want it, but eventually did fall to him. Advantage over for the knock on, so Gibson Park's going to look to clear here. Last time, by the way, Scotland beat Ireland was 2017. So we're talking about 7 years now. Another good take there from Blair Kinghorn. They can bombard him all night. He will not worry one bit. So good in the air is Blair Kinghorn. And eventually goes to Peter Schoeman, who also loves to have ball in hand. The two loose heads today will be doing a lot of carrying. And once again, going back to the boots, you can see, I think there's quite a lot of wind, apparently, potentially over that side. It'll be interesting to sort of see how that plays a part. Now it goes up to the air. And Carl Steyn once again giving chase. And Crowley under a lot of pressure there, being driven towards the touchline. Playing a bit of a territory game on both teams. Dan Sheehan, and up nice and quickly here, Scotland. Having to commit a lot of players to the ruck there at Ireland to try and win that ball. Xander Ferguson creating a lot of havoc at the breakdown. Once again, Gibson Park's going to go to the boot. So not a lot of rugby being played at the moment. No, he actually goes to... oh, he's going to charge down. Is it going to stay in Andy Christie? Oh, I tell you what, that could have been interesting. It went back to James Lowe. He's been charged down by Andy Christie, the number 6. And unfortunately for him, the ball going out. But because he would have been, there was nobody else behind him. That ball stayed in. He could have been in for a run-in. And so frustrating for him. But that's a nice moment. Good pressure being exerted here by Scotland. They'll have a defensive line on now, Ireland. And right on their 5-metre line. First line, it was a bit shaky, so an opportunity here. You'll expect to see Scotland compete and try and see if they can put a bit of pressure on this Irish line. They go to a 4-man line. They go to the front of Peter O'Mahony, Mr. Reliable. But it's a free kick. And opportunity here. We'll look at a tap and go here from Scotland, potentially a scrum. Tap and go it is. Xander Ferguson scored a try last week. But the ball's been ripped by Scotland, Ireland. Dan Sheehan coming away with it. And back into the pocket there, Jack Crowley goes to the boot. But back is Blair Kinghorn right. Now, space for him. Where's he going to go? Looks to Rookie to run. Gets away from one. Runs into Tyburn. Got a carry from the full back. That's a nice carry as well in the midfield. Finn Russell waiting for it. It does go to Finn Russell. He's shaped to kick. Now it does kick down the right-hand side. I think it's got a little bit far. We expect to see James Lowe mark this. Yeah, I think Chatsball making a point there, saying, initially they needed to cut out the areas, and that kind of area there, I mean, tap and go, and they basically rip it in the second carry. Not ideal at all, but they have eventually pinned Ireland back, and they've forced them to go to the boot there, and so they'll have a line out just inside Ireland territory. So not a bad start, Jeff, from Scotland. Still a bit of momentum here. Decent line out there. Eventually it falls back and turn it. No, it wasn't a great maul. They still got possession inside their own half here to Scotland. Tanner Ferguson, good work there from him. All right, once again to the air there and to be competitive. It's a good take there from James Lowe. Yeah, I'm about to say that's got to be crawling on the ground there from him, and it is, and it's penalised. And opportunity for points here, to be honest. Very kickable, though, this from Scotland. Interesting decision what Finn Russell will take. And they are going to take the points here. Finn Russell grabs his kicking tee. Here it is 45 meters on the angle and looking to try and get the first points of the game going here. Is the Scottish co-captain. I hate co-captains, by the way. A little pet hate of mine. I just don't really see the point of them. Make somebody a captain, really. I mean, internally, you're captain, vice captain. I mean, if you've got the right team environment, I don't think it really matters. And Finn Russell, no issues whatsoever. That is straight through the middle. And in my opinion, I'll tell you what, I think Finn Russell could be up for Six Nations Player of the Championship. I think it's been tremendous throughout the tournament. So if you look at a Six Nations team on the tournament, for example, I think you'll see Finn Russell there. From a Scotland point of view, I tell you what, I could argue for obviously for Blair Kinghorn. I think could potentially be there. I'm trying to think of the fullback performances we've seen throughout the championship. Cameron Wynne has been very good for Wales. Hugo Keenan's been a bit injury prone and missed quite a few games. I think he missed about 2 or 3. Actually, very interesting. We're looking at doing a Six Nations team of the championship, and interesting to see. Obviously, be a lot of Ireland players, I reckon, in there. Two things. First of all, and by the way, they've won the ball from the kickoffs. That's really poor from Scotland. Obviously, potentially going to win the Six Nations, but also they're just such a consistent team with regards to team selection. Not a lot of changes week in, week out, so they get a lot of opportunity to play. Now, Currie, I think it's his first touch of the game, really, with Bundyaki now going to... it's Calvin Nash coming and joining there. It now goes back to Currie. Currie looks to stab it ahead. It's a really good kick there from Jack Currie. Finds touch inside the 22. A territory gain of 27.0 meters coming from Sage, doing all those sort of small insights there. But what a Six Nations campaign Jack Currie's had, looking so comfortable at this level. His first real Six Nations campaign where he's been, and his first real sort of campaign of anything, being back to the #1 flower half for Ireland, and I think he's coached tremendously. Good line that from Scotland. Ben White throws it to Finn Russell. Needs to find a good clearance. Won't find touch. But James Lowe's back inside Ireland territory. He wants to run to James Lowe. And he runs straight into Xander Ferguson and Jack Dempsey, also somebody I've been quite impressed with. Now Ty Byrne. Give some park fires out towards Bundyaki. Bundyaki coming back in the angle. Good crackle that from Andy Christie. He's also been very good as Bundyaki, the Six Nations. Playing the best rugby of his career at the moment as the inside centre. And I'm now going to the left-hand side. Xander Ferguson, sorry, so George Turner's hammered Jack Currie, maybe slightly late. And James Lowe just dabbing it in behind there. It's a very good kick from James Lowe. Once again, playing a bit of territory game here are Ireland and just pinning Scotland back. I think both teams actually deploy these tactics. As I said, not seeing a lot of rugby being played in this opening 10 minutes. Nice hands. But George Turner just reminding Jack Currie that he's there and he doesn't have as much time as he'd like. James Lowe now goes inside. Barman now. It's a good tackle on him. Gives the park fires out towards Currie. A bit of an overlap. They want to use it. Go and go. Almost through his Robbie Henshaw. James Lowe now. Off his wrong wing there. Penalty advantage here for Ireland. Could be 3-3 if they decide to take the points out of the penalty. Now Andrew Porter. Just show the 22-year Ireland. On the right-hand side. And try to go to the grubber. Did James Lowe into the Scottish player. Will go back for the penalty here. It wouldn't be the easiest kick, so I expect them to probably go to touch here. Glances over to his captain, who says, yeah, pop into the corner. Right, and on the 5-meter line here now, Ireland, big opportunity for them. Their biggest of the game so far. Again, I think a big statement is yet to be made by Ireland. I don't think it's just about the win today. I think they very much need to make a statement win. They go back to Dan Sheehan, right against the touchline. He's going to get bundled out. He is bundled out. Good defense that from Scotland. But both teams are defended quite well up against the touchline. So turnover ball, yeah. George Turner will be the lineout. Lineout look pretty solid so far. Hasn't really been threatened by Ireland, but it goes straight to the top to Church, and that is awful. Absolutely awful from George Turner and from Scotland, and that's just an absolute waste. Straight over the top, it goes straight into the hands of Dan Sheehan and just walks over. I mean, they couldn't have asked for worse. First try to concede. I mean, that is a gift, an absolute gift. He's barely celebrating his Dan Sheehan, and rightly so, because it was too easy for him. I look that straight into his hands, and over he goes. I mean, it was almost like it was planned. Yeah, it's the call completely wrong. Kirsten over Dan Sheehan goes, and that is Scotland for you, hey? I mean, a perfect defense earlier on. You know, a 5 meter line up there, and you know, they defended really well. They bundled Dan Sheehan into touch. You know, turnover ball, and they throw it straight back into Dan Sheehan's hands and offer him a try. So, yeah, not good. Not good from Scotland. Jack Currie will have his first attempt. Just a 2-point game at the moment. This won't be easy. I think it's actually a lot further in field than I initially thought. Maybe let's have a check. Let's have a check, yeah. Once we go from the other side, yeah. Yeah, it's not too hard. It's an effort he should nail. 21 seconds left on the shot clock. And makes no mistake. Right, 7 points to 3. Scotland now trailing Ireland after 40 minutes. And yeah, just flat out getting completely wrong. And Dan Sheehan getting an early Christmas present. Very, very early Christmas present. We're only in March. But celebrating St. Patrick's Day with a try, Dan Sheehan. That's a really good kick chase that from Carstairs. Scotland looking to put pressure back on Ireland immediately. Need to score next, I feel, to Scotland. I think Scotland, the longer Scotland stays in the fight, the more likely that potential upset comes. Need to kind of take a bit of hint from learn from Italy a bit from that in that instance. And the clears and gives a pass, not phenomenal, just outside the 22. Right, so as it stands, Ireland will go to 20 points, an unassailable 20 points. Scotland will be at 12 points at the moment, which will be level of points with England. They've got a bit of points difference, though. England gets against France, though. So Scotland, if they don't win today, you expect them to finish third. Go to the front of the line, no to Scotland, looking for the running more, and no, Andy Christie pops it up to Turner, fires out to Ben White to Carl Steyn cut in half there. Now Finn Russell delays his pass on the angle. Oh, it's a great tackle in the end, just grabbing the foot of Blake King-Ornell, almost through with Scotland. Not out of the hands of Ben White, but backwards, according to Mark Carley. Now Finn Russell going short to Xander Ferguson. He's carried well so far as the British and Irish Lions tight head. Back to Finn Russell. Finn Russell's got options here. Goes to Pierre Schoolman. Seeing half a gap there and almost goes through, does Hugh Jones. He's had a really good campaign as well. Ben White, Ireland, for me, offside. Yeah, there comes the arm for the advantage. So Finn Russell with the license goes to Andy Christie. Quick ball here, wanted from Ben White, but he decides to go to the right-hand side to George Turner. Nice tempo this be from Ireland. I mean, from Scotland, rather. Jack Dempsey going to Finn Russell. Finn Russell with options. Hugh Jones into the 22. Now Finn Russell, nice and flat. Rory Dodge. Back to Finn Russell. Finn Russell, flat to Joe van der Merwe. He's wrapped up by Bandiaki. No, Vaughan's going back for the penalty. And pretty much right in front of the poles. So decision time here for Scotland. They can just take the points and get themselves within a single point away from Ireland, which probably what they'll end up doing, I reckon. But I wouldn't mind them being a bit brave and going for the line, trying to score a try, showing a bit of confidence. But no, they're going to take the points here as Finn Russell. Going to continue racking up points is Finn Russell. The fly half is, yeah, for me, as peak at the moment. One of the best fly halves. Probably the best fly half Scotland's ever had, really. He's played 78 times for them. He's 31 years of age, turning 32 this year, so could potentially has another World Cup in him. But just playing with so much maturity these days. He's always been a prodigious talent. Played rugby in New Zealand for a few weeks as a youngster, for a few months as a youngster. Then from Glasgow Warriors, he's played for lots of different teams. He's gone to Racing, for example, was there for 5 years. Now at Bath, playing good rugby there. He's already racked up almost 100 points for them. And over it goes. So lifts his personal points tally in a Scottish shirt up to 371 points, if I'm not mistaken. Has one British and Irish Lions cap. And I'll tell you what, I still maintain if he had played from the beginning in that British and Irish Lions series, I reckon that the Boxer actually would have lost it. He looked so good in that final game. Right, 7 points to 6 after 17-minute close game so far. Not really too much ascendancy from either team, so very much in the balance. It'd be nice if it sort of remains this way. As I said, the Triple Crown is on to play for. That is obviously between England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. Home nations, as they're known as, so the British and Irish Lions teams. So yeah, both these teams have beaten Wales and England. So the winner of today will be the winner of the Triple Crown. Scotland having won the Calcutta Cup, they get which is their match against England. Ty Byrne, big hit on him. What I like about the Six Nations that it's a championship, but there's so many there's trophies within trophies within the big championship, which is fun. So you got the Calcutta Cup, you've got there's a trophy that Scotland and Ireland play for. I mean, Scotland and Italy play for last week, which I can't name escapes me, but I'll remember in a moment. But there's lots of different rivalry trophies. That's what they call them. Anyway, Ireland back on the front foot, Judge. That's out of 22. Good work this from Ireland, and as they hammer down Scotland's defence, Crowley stabs in behind. Blair Kinghorn is there and lets it go. Actually, very good work in the end there from Blair Kinghorn. It'll be a scrum from where Crowley kicked it. He's just the guy that touches Blair Kinghorn, remained very, very composed. But yeah, let's look at the rivalry trophy. So there's the Calcutta Cup, which is the oldest of the lot. And that's been going since 1879 between England and Scotland. 11 years later, the Millennium Trophy between England and Ireland. That started in 1988. Then there's the Centenary Quetch, which is Ireland and Scotland. The Giuseppe Garibaldi trophies between France and Italy. That was started in 2007. The Old Alliance Trophy between France and Scotland in 2018. The Doddy Weir Cup between Wales and Scotland started in 2018. And then 2 years ago, we saw the Cotita Cup between Scotland and Italy. So almost all the rivalry trophies happening between Scotland. So Scotland paid for a rivalry trophy in every single Six Nations game, which is full, which is very, very cool. And then, yeah, as I mentioned, the Triple Crown is the big one actually after the actual championship itself. And then obviously the Grand Slam is if you win all the games. So we've got a replacement here, I think, from the looks of it, from Scotland for an HIA. Or he's not happy to carry on there. They're not going to need an HIA. Right, 20 minutes, by the way, has passed, just short of 20 minutes. The score is remaining 7 points to 6. Right, on the right-hand side there, Bandiaki. Yeah, it's a nice big hit on him. And over the ball there, but not being rewarded for it. Scotland, in fact, they turned it over, I think, actually. Well, that's that for a reward. George Turner going to the left-hand side. Finn Russell just inside his 22. I mean, his own half, dabbing it ahead. And that ball needs to slow up. It's going to slow up just inside the in-goal area. So Calvin Nash going to go back, and doubt it will be a goal line dropout. That's good work there from Andy Christie. I really enjoy what I see from Andy Christie. I don't know a lot about him. But I think that he's been quite a nice addition to the Scottish team. 24 years old, so plenty of years ahead of him. Was born in the United Kingdom, plays rugby with Saracens, which is why I haven't seen a lot of him, so I don't watch a lot of Premiership rugby. He made his debut for Scotland last year. He's qualified through descent, but looks a nice player. All right, Finn Russell underneath the restart. They give it away to Jack Dempsey. Jack Dempsey looking to run up a bit of steam there. Now Gilchrist. Hugh Jones carrying the midfield. We haven't seen Hugh a lot in the last few weeks, but I've been very impressed with the centre performance from Cameron Redpath. Now Stafford McDowell getting his opportunity today. Hugh Jones ever present. Taken over from Chris Harris, who was a sure starter for Scotland a few seasons ago. Kind of dropped off the radar, really. Even made the British Irish Lions, did Chris Harris. Amazing how things change. Don't want to pick up and go. Drifting to the right-hand side. You're getting away from a couple. Eventually gets back up and is brought down by Tyke Furlong. Slightly isolated there. Josh van der Fleer wins the penalty. I tell you what, Carly's not... he's not waiting too long to award the jackless. So that's an interesting interpretation that he's got. And... yeah, I think Scotland are also trying not to try and think, but I mean, this is just, yeah, it's just very, very lateral there from John van der Merwe. Not much support for him as well. And Josh van der Fleer, former World Player of the Year, gets over very quickly, grabs the penalty and turnover ball here as well. So Scotland are building momentum. Well, both teams actually started to build every single time they started to build momentum. Just a small mistake and leading that other team back into it. So there's really not much separating the two sides as we go into the 23rd minute. Gibson Park now going to Crowley. Crowley going to Bundyaki. Bundyaki going himself. Good tackle in the end from Hugh Jones. Gibson Park looking for options. Pierre Schoeman was waiting eagerly for Peter O'Mahony. Andy Christie once again looking to try and get over that ball. Gibson Park fires out to Crowley. Crowley goes back inside. Gives it to Dan Sheehan. Outside Furlong. The first receiver goes to Crowley. Crowley. And eventually goes down to James Lowe. It was a nice tackle on Larmer. And he's been he's been almost driven back there as James Lowe. No, nobody back there. So Jack Crowley stabs with the head, but I think that'll be far too far. It is far too far. And it ends actually pretty poor kick from Jack Crowley. Puts his hand up and apologies because they'll have a scrum outside the 22 there for Scotland. So just basically donating possession back to the away side of Jack Crowley. And the restart there in 22. And Caelan Doris is going to run home and true. Runs into Pierre Schoeman though, so it's a good tackle from him. Gibson Park going to the boot. Just outside 22. It's well weighted. Having to move across there is Finn Russell, who's taken out, but the ball goes backwards. Forced to Blair Kinghorn. Got a good boot on him. Won't find touch down the middle of the park. Back into Scotland territory. Crowley looking for options. Goes to Larmer. Goes to Robbie Henshaw. Finds stuff on the wing. Good tackle there coming from Carl Steyn. Big kind of coming here from Scotland, and they've turned the ball over here, I think. Still, yeah, there it is. Andy Christie now throws the ball out, so he's the penalty advantage, I think, here for Scotland. That was a knock-on advantage, so Finn Russ kicked to over at the top. Yeah, no advantage. They'll go back for the knock-on originally. Yeah, back for the knock-on. Scotland remain in this contest, actually. They look actually too fair to them, but apart from that really sloppy try that they conceded, they looked up for it. They've been very good in the defence. Right, a bit of break and play here. Both teams getting a chance to get a bit of water into their systems. That's a good point being made by the commentator. A first scrum coming in the 26th minute. Almost up to 26 minutes, actually. So, bit of a strange one to have waited this long for the scrum. Very interested to see how this goes. Andrew Porter's actually been under a bit of a microscope in the last few weeks. A couple of videos surfacing about his elbow, and interesting to see how Peter Marnie helps with his elbow and just helps to keep that elbow nice and high. But let's see. It is a Scotland put it to the scrum. Scotland with a heavier pack. It's the second row, which is interestingly carrying them. As I've always said that Scotland's second row for me just don't really have a bruising player, so that actually surprises me. Look, they're not small players, I suppose. Grant Gilchrist and Scott Cummings. I just don't think they've quite got that enforcer. You know, your Eben Etzebeth, or Joe McCarthy's playing that role now for Scotland. You know, this just that monster lock who gets over the advantage line every single time. You think about your Will Skeltons, for example, what Mario Toja was doing back a few years ago when he was playing some of his best rugby. That kind of presence. You know, Brody Metallic, for example, that kind of player. I think that you throw one of those sort of players into a Scottish side, and I think that they would actually really change this team. But anyway, we had a reset of the first one. This one looks a bit more stable. You can see Christie's pointing out that arm. Very, very interesting. And along the left-hand side, caught on the ball. No, he's got through his Stafford McDowell. Looking for the offload. Still going himself. That's a nice little step from him. Really, really good carry that from Stafford McDowell. Quick ball here. Fire to Finn Russell. Finn Russell goes to Pierre Skuman, who's come to join the party. Now, Finn Russell. That's a horrible pass. And going to have Carl Spain's have to go fetch that. But lost a lot of momentum there, Scotland, as well as some territory. Pierce Schumann pops to Blair King on all these numbers here. Down in the angle there, Stafford McDowell getting involved. Scotland back hasn't had much to do, but have been pretty effective when they have been asked to do something. George Turner now takes the more direct route towards the try line. Ben White seeing a bit of space, chips over the top. Looking for territory. It's going to hold up slightly. Eventually runs into touch, so it'll be an Ireland line now. That's very, very good work. But let's have a look at this break once again from Stafford McDowell. Really, really nice work, this. Just slips the tackle of Bundyaki and then bang, puts the hammer down. He's always looking for the offload. Hands off Jack Currie, steps inside. Eventually brought down by, I think it was Calvin Nash, or could have been Jordan Lamo. And he hasn't had much to do with Stafford McDowell, so he'll feel very good after that little touch there. There's a bit of confidence growing into Scotland's game here. Ireland on the defence. Looking, I mean, they're very, very close there, right at the front of the lineup there. And they go to Ty Burns. Scotland do put a man up in there, but it can't really compete. And Caelan Doris actually slips just before the tackler. But Ireland with ball in hand inside their own 22. Uses the call. Gibson Park will look to find touch right up against that right-hand touch line. And stays in fact. And Joe Panamerva manages to pop it into Ben White. Goes long to Blair Kinghorn. I'll tell you what, the cross go. Oh, he just puts a bullet past there. Carl Steyn steps inside of one, eventually brought down. Good work there from Carl Steyn. Ball available for Ben White, who fires it out to Jack Dempsey. Nice slick touch. And Andy Christie. Bit upright in the carry, but making a few yards. Quick ball for Ben White to Finn Russell. Finn Russell's got options here. Through the hands, but backwards. Oh, whoa. I'm not so sure about that. Yeah, I think safe to say that Joe Panamerva also doesn't agree. I don't think this is forwards. No, he leaves it behind. No, I'm not entirely sure that went forward. I mean, it basically hit him over here, left it behind, and the ball, and he ran straight onto it, Hugh Jones. So I think it's a bit of a harsh call, if you ask me. Right, another scrum, yeah. First one was pretty solid. It wasn't too much in it. So let's see what Ireland can do with the put-in. 10 minutes to go for half time, and just 1 point separating the two sides. I've been impressed with Scotland so far. I didn't think Ireland are really firing on all cylinders just yet. Scotland have had some nice moments. It looked dangerous, ball in hand, when that backline's had a bit of space. But let's see what they can do at the scrum. Yeah, can Ireland. It's very, very solid. Work being done there by Ty Furlong. Now a bit of a counter shot from Scotland. Penalty advantage for Ireland. I think the call's come on the other side there. So it's against Xander Ferguson. It's against Pierre Schoolman, actually. Yeah, look, I mean, I look at scrums, and half the time, well, I think it can go either way, to be honest. Pierre Schoolman, I think, also agreed that it could have gone either way. Right up towards the 22 Ireland. They fired out to Gibson Park. Gibson Park going to Dan Sheehan. Jack Dempsey making the tackle, but into the 22 Ireland go. Did you for that second try? Joe McCarthy. On the right-hand side. Josh van der Fleer. Christie trying to rip that ball from him. As well to hold on to it. In fact, I think they called ball there. Yeah, so I think it's a return of a ball. Very, very well done, that from Scotland. Very, very good momentum there. Being cut out. As I said, I think Scotland's actually potentially the better side yet, to be honest. And it's Christie again. Well, I can spot talent. It's a talent of mine, being able to spot talent. And I've been impressed by Andy Christie, and that's a very, very good moment from him. Him and Dempsey getting underneath there, getting themselves in a position of strength. The maul is called. And you look at the celebration there from Scotland and the disbelief from Andy Farrell. Always interesting looking at those split screens, really, seeing the reaction from the coaches, and one clearly agreeing and celebrating the call, the other one very much disgruntled and not agreeing with the call. That's Sports in Scotland playing the better rugby, kept Ireland from finding those little pockets of space. Yeah, 100%. Have Ireland been found out? Could be famous last words, but it's second week in a row at the moment that they defensively, other teams managed to keep them rather quiet. It is obviously early days here, still a full half of rugby to go, but Finn Russell will clear. Looking for touch there. No. And Jordan Lamo, late addition to the side. Pierre Schoolman. Pierre Schoolman. Andrew Porter. But lost a bit of a gain advantage there. Now back to James Lowe. Just chips it down that left-hand side, straight into the hands of Finn Russell, who's going to return the favour and try and turn James Lowe. He has turned James Lowe. He eventually retrieves the ball inside his 22. Now he leaves at 22. Looking to get away from Finn Russell, and he's going to be wrapped up by Hugh Jones. In fact, Finn Russell completes the tackle. Slightly isolated was James Lowe. Gets away with it with some Porter arriving eventually. Now Andrew Porter, but I'm really impressed by the line speed of the Scottish defence so far. So the Ireland forwards not getting that territory gain, and Gibson Park's going to go to the boot. Well taken from Carl Steyn, getting away from the one, and now eventually being brought down by Ty Byrne. Presented well, though, for Ben White. Pierre Schoolman in the midfield. Pierre Schoolman looking for options. And he's run straight in front of Andy Christie. Really, really poor that from Pierre Schoolman. And that's actually very kickable, so he could have just conceded 3 points. And if I'm Ireland, I'll probably take the 3 points to perfect honest. I think that they have not played well enough to really continue backing going to the line. I think they could just use a bit of points. Yeah, they are going to take the points, yeah? I'm a prophet. A rugby prophet. Now he's missed it. He's pulled to the left. And Blair King on. Take a bit of time, and he's going to look to find a clearance. Launched it downfield. Lama gives it to Currie, goes to the air. Lama's going to give chase here. It's quite deep. Another good take from Blair King on, and he gets the offload away. Ben White, he goes to Finn Russell. Finn Russell fires to the left. Stafford McDowell caught on the ball. Eventually managed to get back up. Wait for a bit of support there. So it's good defense from Ireland, but Scotland do have it. Xander Ferguson. So okay from him. Good cleaning out as well from Scotland. Ben White's going to go to the boot here. Right, to the hands of Calvin Nash. Ball pops out. The ball pops out. George Osman, the flare grabs it, but loses it back. No, loses it forward. Once again, really good pressure from Scotland, who I think, if they keep pushing, could go with a halftime lead. They have a bit of momentum here. As I said, lots of mistakes here coming, and it is raining, by the way. I've just noticed that now. But good pressure there from Stafford McDowell on Josh van der Fleer, noticing the ball that popped out, and that's number 7 losing the ball forward. And the applause coming from 2 Scottish fans who find themselves pitch side there. You can see what it means. Lots of... I've actually been very impressed with Stafford McDowell. Love a Scottish name, eh? Stafford McDowell. 26-year-old, plays for Glasgow Warriors. Played all age group rugby, and this is just his 2nd cap, by the way. Played once last year, and this is first. I think it's his first start, actually. But yeah, has really had to grind to get to where he is, and so far, I think he's having quite a nice game. Right, what can I mean, Scotland cook up from the scrum. They had a very nice move earlier, which saw Stafford McDowell making a lot of yards. Solid platform there. And Ben White goes to the right side to Stafford McDowell. And Finn Russell there, and it was really good defense there from James Gibb-Parks. He knew exactly where he wanted to go, and that was to try and target Finn Russell. Did so very well. But Scotland still have possession. Needs to try and rebuild a bit of momentum, though. And Ben White's now knocked it on. That's a poor moment. And he kicks it away in anger, does Ben White. So with 90 seconds left on the clock, it will be an Ireland scrum on the halfway line. And you can just see Gibson Park knows exactly where he wants to go, and that's straight for Finn Russell. Finn Russell having to try and make that offload quickly because he's being targeted. You can see Gregor Townsend. It was telegraphed. Unfortunately, a bit more awareness from Stafford McDowell. I think if he had skipped Finn Russell and gone straight to Joe van der Merwe, then I think it could have been on, actually. But such good awareness there. I think that's pre-planned, though, to be fair. I mean, he wanted to try and get on Ben White very quickly. When he didn't manage to do that, he saw Finn Russell and he said, right, that's where I got to target. He knows that everything comes through Finn Russell. So another scrum. We had to go a while to get a few scrums, but now we've got it. It's taken almost a minute, by the way. from when that scrum was awarded to eventually actually have the scrum. So less than 30 seconds on the clock as a result. And very, very solid. Not much give at all. Now second shove, but gives the park, does bring it out, gives it to Bandiaki. Bandiaki going himself, now pops up to Crowley. Crowley to James Lowe, comes inside. Good tackle that from Stafford McDowell, but good, nice momentum from Ireland. They've gained about 20 meters. Ty Byrne puts his head down. Bandiaki, going himself. I think Scotland will be quite happy to go down with a 1 point deficit. And Graham McCarthy, a bit of a fumble going to Crowley. Crowley to Henshaw. Henshaw decides to come back inside. Be interested to see how many minutes we're going to see from Gary Ringrose in the second half, as well as who he replaces, whether he reunites the partnership with Henshaw, or he plays with Bandiaki, which is what he did in the World Cup. Such a good player as Gary Ringrose. Now Crowley goes short to Peter O'Mahony as captain. Very emotional at the anthems. Will we see him again at the Aviva Stadium in Irish? That's a huge tackle. He's been thrown backwards. Here's Peter O'Mahony. Andrew Porter now caught on the ball there by Roy Dodge and Andy Christie. Not getting too much gain on advantage. Back to Crowley. Crowley thought about the kick. Now into Kellen Doris. Scotland, I think the commentator is saying over 100 tackles been made so far in this first half. Now down the left-hand side, not too much space there. And Carl Steyn will bring Dan Sheehan out, but turned over ball actually. And Blair King was going to put in a kicker behind, and he's going to chase. I think this is going to be just kicked out. Calvin Nash comes away with the Calvin Nash penalty advantage. I think it's a bit harsh, given the fact he's about 2 meters off and a half meter off the ground. Penalty advantage for a higher tackle. I mean, I'm going to go back for the high tackle, which I think is pretty harsh. I mean, Blair King was trying to get. I mean, he's literally about just on the. He's on the ground when he's trying to attempt the tackle here. Good work there from Blair King on. Just wasn't quite quick enough. I think he had the legs on Crowley. Yeah, and just slipping up there on Calvin Nash. So I'm pretty sure we'll see Ireland up. Yeah, interesting actually. We think they'll tap it and just put into touch, or they and take off time, or they're going to go further down the field and try, I suppose. Doesn't really look like they're looking to go down the chain, the change rooms just yet. The tempo has been good in the game, though, so it'll be interesting to see what the fitness is going to do a bit later. And yeah, Ireland have shaped up as if they're going to continue playing. So Lou's going to go for touch here. Genuinely going to go for touch here is Jack Crowley. How many meters can he gain? He won't. He runs just inside of Scottish territory. Big moment this from Scotland. He's gained 26 meters there, has Jack Crowley. But if Scotland can just get through this phase, you feel that they'll have a bit of momentum going into halftime. Amazing how one moment could make the halftime conversation very, very different. Solid work there, and into the midfield for Colin Doris, who fires out towards Bandiaki. Bandiaki popping up to Crowley. Lots of running in behind for Ireland, and James Lowe eventually is the one that takes it into contact. Up to the 10-meter line now. Gibson Park down the right-hand side to Crowley. To Bandiaki. Right up towards that right-hand touchline. Now they're going to work it back to the left-hand side. Yeah, Tyke Furlong the first receiver. Crowley shows and goes. Gets the offload away to Josh van der Fleer, but it's well read. Big counter coming from Xander Ferguson, and Jefferson Gibson pass caught, and the ball pops up to Caleb Doris. Good hands there to Tyke Furlong. He's slightly isolated, but support does arrive. Iron still with possession, but not too much momentum. Robbie Henshaw back on the angle. Now down the left-hand side, Crowley looking for options. Crowley decides to go himself. Brought down by Pierre Skuman. Gibson Park fires it out to James Lowe. Deft handling until it was thrown into the touch judge's head. And that is half time. And I think, as I said, I think Scotland will be the happier of the two teams, behind by a silly error at line time. But for me, I've got the momentum. And I think that this could be a very, very tight clash in the second half. People will see you very shortly. Don't go away. Go and smash like the video. You can go. Well, you can go and get some refill in your drinks and stuff like that. But make sure you leave the stream running. And I'll see you guys for the second half very shortly.
Hello and welcome to Forever Sports for another player interview, and I am joined by Springbok fly half as well as Sevens player Libby Jans van Rensburg, who is currently coming back from injury, and so has a bit of time to chat to us about her career. First of all, Libby, how are you? And thank you so much for giving us your time.
Hi Steve, I'm doing very well, thank you. Not a problem at all. It's always an honor to be involved, you guys.
Cool. Right. So at the moment, we just saw the Sevens doing very well over the weekend, but without you at the moment. So before we sort of go through the career stuff like that, just give us a bit of an update, exactly what happened in Dubai and how's the return going from the injury?
So during the Dubai Sevens in December, I tore my groin. Had it operated in December, shortly after, about a week after the tournament, and I've been slowly going through the recovery process. Very exciting at the moment. I started running this week, so that is fantastic news. And we're sort of on the last stretch of my rehab, hoping to be back end of April if all goes well.
So you managed to choose one of the hottest weeks of the year to get back to running. And I think and in Pretoria it can't be much warmer than over here, so that can't be too much fun unless you're sticking to an aircon gym.
No, it is a struggle, but I mean, anyone who chooses to play sevens chooses to struggle.
This is true. Yeah, you made your choice a while ago. You know, you come to terms with the fact that you're never going to be enjoying life too much on the field. So I suppose you're used to it.
No, absolutely.
Right, so I want to take you back right to the start, because a lot of people, obviously, you become a bit of a household name in the last few years, but from my understanding, quite a late bloomer in the rugby world. So, but a lot of people also, I mean, I think don't even understand how, you know, sort of the women's career sort of starts and sort of where the avenues are and stuff like that. So where did it all sort of start? You know, back in school, you know, what sort of sports did you play? Where did you get exposed? How did you sort of end up from right at the beginning sort of to playing professional rugby?
So when I was in school, I was pretty much an all-rounder with sports. I did swimming, I did athletics, I did hockey. But the one sport that definitely made the difference for me was touch rugby. So we had a teacher at the school who sort of introduced me to touch rugby, and that was my first introduction to an oval ball. At that time, I also didn't know that women's rugby was a thing. It was never, you know, promoted as much as it is today. So that was the only sort of exposure that I had with a rugby ball, was with touch rugby. And then when I started studying at the University of Pretoria, was when I actually got exposed to sevens rugby, and the coach approached me and told me, listen, they're going to play in the Central Sevens in Paris if I want to go with for this experience. And of course, they caught me hook, line and sinker just for the traveling to start off with. Yeah. So that was where I sort of got introduced to contact rugby for the first time. But with that said, I did play sevens for majority of my career leading up to now. It was only during sort of the end of my studies when I realized, okay, I'm going to have to become an adult, sort of. That
horrible moment.
Yeah, that horrible moment. I sort of thought, okay, it's time to, you know, hang up the boots and stuff. And then COVID happened. And then during the COVID time was supposed to be the Women's 15s World Cup. And the Blue Bulls coach contacted me and told me, listen, I want to give the 15s a try. He thinks I'll have a good shot at making the World Cup squad, whatever. And I didn't really buy into it at first. I was never interested in playing 15s just because, well, I didn't actually know what the game was. I was just focused on sevens. Sevens was my only thing. But then after COVID, there wasn't any rugby happening, especially sevens. We couldn't tour, we couldn't travel, we couldn't play anywhere. So I thought, okay, well, locally, the only rugby that's happening is the interprovincial rugby, which was the 15s at the time. And I decided to give it a shot. And honestly, the rest is history. I mean, I played one season with the Bulls, got my call up to the Springboks, received my cap like a couple of months later. And honestly, my career's just skyrocketed from there. So it's been a really great journey. The sevens was good to me. And it's now again coming into the picture because I was so focused on the 15s for a long time. And then getting the call up back to the sevens, especially now leading up to the Olympics, is such an honor. And I mean, of course, what player wouldn't want to go to the Olympics?
Yeah. I think that's very interesting. The fact that you know, I'm going to talk about it a bit later. I think that the whole sort of link between sevens and 15s, and we've seen in the male game, but a very different sort of way of doing things. And I think especially the fact at the moment, whilst we're still growing our resource, the fact that we sort of split the resource between 15 and sevens, I think is a very interesting move by SA Rugby. But let's go sort of, I mean, for touch rugby to contact rugby. Now, I mean, we all had that moment. We had our first sort of rugby match, and you know, you're very excited. The first match goes well, and then you start playing, and you start wondering that this actually hurts. This is actually quite different from sort of playing touch rugby and around at home and stuff. What was that like? Because you know, most people would sort of go through playing contact rugby from quite a young age. Was it quite a shock to the system, or was it something that you actually ended up really enjoying quite early?
No, look, it was definitely a shock. So going into the sevens, I thought, okay, 7 minutes a half, oh, that's nothing. Touch, we play 20-minute halves, rolling subs. Like, I'm quite a fit person, always been quite fit, so 7 minutes is going to be a breeze. little did I know how
Your famous
tough
last words.
sevens actually is, and I didn't really prepare myself physically as well as I should have. Played the first game, got absolutely smashed. And I came back home and I was like, nope,
That was it.
not for me.
Not for me.
No, I mean, it was great. Paris was lovely.
Yeah.
First time traveling overseas. But I was like, no, this game is tough. It's not for me. And then a couple of months went by. I didn't play sevens. Then the coach phones me again. And he's like, listen, Tux is going to play in the Dubai sevens in December. Would you like to reconsider trying this? And I was like, well, I've never been to Dubai.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's see. I did, obviously, leading up to that, I did have a bit more time to prepare a little bit better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went in a little bit stronger, a little bit fitter, more mentally prepared to what it actually means to be tackled and to tackle. And yeah, the rest is history.
So what you're saying is we've got the international calendar of sevens rugby to thank for the fact that you're still playing. Yeah.
No, definitely.
And then the transition to 15s. I mean, if anybody's played rugby, I mean, 15s. We used to do it at school. You played 15s, and all of a sudden you'd have sevens on the Saturday, and you'd think you kind of be fine. And it's like two different sports, really. How difficult was it for you to adapt to the 15s game? And what were sort of some of the small things that you sort of noticed going into 15s compared to sevens?
Look, definitely, there's a massive difference. Anyone who tells me that rugby is rugby obviously hasn't played two separate codes at such a high level. But going into the 15s, honestly, I just winged it. I didn't know what I was doing. Especially coming in at fly half.
Now I know exactly. Not like you can really go hide in the wing there and just say, "I'll be here if you guys need me." No, front and center.
Touch the ball, play a little bit. I have to know what's going on, and the whole concept was a lot for me to take in the beginning. Like I said, I was really just winging it for like the first year, even the first World Cup that I played. I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest with you. And just sort of figured it out, I really winged my whole way through that World Cup.
As one does, just on, in the World Cup, the biggest rugby tournament in the world. You just sort of, there in the number 10 jersey. I don't really know what I'm doing here, but I'm in New Zealand, it's fun.
As one should playing at that level, unfortunately. But I must say, now that I've spent more time there, gotten a bit more experience, I do think that I still have a lot to learn as a fly-off still. I mean, I haven't been playing for so long. But it was definitely a massive adaptation that I had to go through coming from sevens into the 15 and also understanding the whole dynamic of what a fly-off actually does. Like all you see on TV is, okay, it's the guy who's passing the ball, the guy who kicks. So I thought the fly-off does. No, so much more. There's so much work that goes into it behind the scenes, the calls, the planning, what is the game structure going to look like, all of that stuff that I didn't know and had to learn really quickly. I mean, I was pushed into the deep end so quickly, so I had to adapt and improvise sort of and wing it really well. But yeah, like I say, now I think I'm at a point where I'm starting to understand the game a little bit more, and working with a coach like Louis Kuhn, for example, has taught me so much.
That does help, but he also played the same position.
Yeah, he himself knows exactly what it's like to play fly-off, so I've learned a lot from him since he's coached us. And I'm just excited for the future. I think I still have a lot to grow as a fly-off. And I can't wait to be back on the field with the team, to be honest.
Well, still already set a few records, so hopefully plenty more to go. You're involved with the Bulls Daisies, which is the first professional team in the country. I mean, that's a pretty landmark moment. Can you maybe just chat to us about some of the challenges for women's rugby players and how significant, because I don't think anybody really realizes how significant it is to be a contracted full-time professional rugby player in the women's game at the moment.
No, absolutely. I mean, the Daisies have made massive strides. You could see it in last year's performance, the difference between us being full-time athletes. We're spending every day on the field, in the gym, together as a team. Girls are getting more hand-to-ball contact, and you could see it in our performances. I mean, I know it's fair for people to say, you don't want to go to a rugby game and see a team get beat 100. No one wants to see that. It's not really nice rugby to watch. But unfortunately, that just shows you the massive difference in a union that's professional and a union that isn't. Unfortunately, there aren't other unions that have gone professional this year, which I think is a little bit of a setback for South African women rugby as a whole. But hopefully in the future, going into next year, some of the other unions will come on board, and hopefully there'll be a URC for the ladies as well, because I think that will be a massive, massive thing for us to get the opportunity to play against some of the international clubs.
Yeah, I think it's a big thing. I think a lot of the unions need to start taking more responsibility about it. I think the Bulls have been really good at taking the lead there. So hopefully, especially our URC unions, will sort of follow suit. quite quickly. Now, I remember last year, I think it was last year, when SA Rugby appointed the director of the women's program, and Rassie Erasmus sort of spoke about the fact that they had treated the women's game the same as the men's, and kind of thought, well, we do the same thing, it's going to work, and then took a while to realize how different the environment and how it's completely almost sort of polar opposites. So can you maybe give us insight, sort of what makes so different, and has there been, what's changed in the last sort of couple of years that has led to what was a very successful World Cup campaign?
And look, there is definitely a lot of differences between the men and the women's game. I think firstly, working with women is different to working with men, especially when you're working with a lot of women. When you have 30 plus women in the same environment training together, obviously we do tend to be a little bit more emotional at times. So coaches need to know how to work with women, how to speak to women. You can't necessarily speak to a woman the same way as you would speak to men. Also, the fact that our women aren't used to professional rugby in any setting prior to where we are now. So where a young boy might have been playing provincial rugby at under 16, under 18, moving up to the ranks, they sort of grasp the idea of what it's like to be in a professional environment, what you can expect from coaches, how they speak, how they manage, and such things. Where for the women, a lot of the time, it's their first experience playing professional rugby when they come into the Springbok setup. So they don't know that sometimes a coach is going to speak a certain way. And I think in today's times, people can be very easily offended as well. Where unfortunately, working in a professional sporting environment, you have to be able to understand that it's not always about your feelings. So that's something in the women's game where I think coaches and managements have had to adapt, and they've done it really well. Especially if you look at the last year that we've had at the 7s and at the 15s, we've seen such massive strides. And I think it's just because of the people that are working with the ladies. Because at the end of the day, we're still the same players. We're still the same core group that stayed together. But the performance has increased so significantly over the last year and a half. It has to come from somewhere. And I think it is filtering through from the top down into the players, through the management. So it's great to see that happening, and hopefully we can continue on this trend going into the future.
I think that's a very interesting point. The fact that, as you mentioned, by the time you've got in the men's game, even by the time you get to, Varsity Cup or, and young guns, these guys have been playing at a good level, solid level, have had all of the coaches for, 13, 14 years. Do you notice that sort of sometimes there's almost a bit of a skill shortage when you have, for example, that Springbok camp and you've got new faces in the camp and it's their first time? And is there quite a bit of a noticeable difference of sometimes that skill level or sort of deficiencies in some of the people's game, which obviously have to catch up quite quickly? And is it one of those things where, coaches might identify a player who might be maybe less skilled but has more sort of potential and talent to be able to catch on quite quickly? Because it's quite a different concept as opposed to the men's game where they're far more sort of the finished products when it gets to that level.
No, definitely. I think you can see a significant difference amongst, for example, ladies that come from the Daisies and ladies that come from other units. You can see it when we walk into a camp just with basic skills. The difference between these players is something you have to be there to see it. Like you can't miss it. You will know, okay, this player is coming from the Daisies, this player is coming from a different unit. So it's definitely something that's very noticeable. I do think that our coaches are equipped enough to sort of be able to identify players who look like they have potential, because a big thing with a women's game is you also have to be willing to learn. And luckily for them, the ladies in general are like sponges, because we don't really know rugby. We haven't been playing rugby in 5, so we don't actually know that much. So whatever they say to us, we like take in like sponges. And I think the ladies are really more receptive when it comes to coaching than maybe what the men are. But I also think that our coaches do take chances on players that just look like they have a bit of potential, because we have had a couple of ladies where a coach is like, you know what, let's give this girl a chance. She hasn't played rugby, but she looks like she has something. And a lot of it has paid off.
That's a very interesting concept and idea, actually. It must be such a strange sort of environment to be able to go into a national camp. You think this is the sort of top level and already be able to see that there's a big difference. A couple of our women's players are going overseas, which is I think really cool to see. You've got a couple of players over in the Premiership and stuff like that. Has that added to it when it comes to sort of the camp and you sort of listen to what their experience is? Is it something that you might look at in the future, for example, you just to sort of experience a different environment? What's that been like?
No, definitely.
Right, and we are back. Second half, about to get back underway. At the moment, just a single point separating the two sides. Can Scotland record a Triple Crown victory. The first time, I think, since 1999. No, I lie. I think it's before that, actually. I think 99 was the last time they won the Six Nations. Last time they won Triple Crown was, I think, actually even longer than that. So a big moment for them, potentially, in the second half to come. Ireland were not at their best in the first half. I thought Scotland did really well to keep themselves in the game. Let's see what the second half has to come, though. It's a nice start from Grant Gilchrist, who goes up and plucks the ball out the air nicely. Ireland will be playing left to right in the second half. Scotland have just received kickoff. And let's see what we have to go here. I'll ask you in the first half, do you think he's going to win the game? I forgot to close the poll, which has been voted 144 times. So a lot more Scottish votes then coming in a bit later as the half went by. That's a nice little carry there from Jordan Lamu, who's a late addition to the side. With Hugo Keenan being ruled out in the warm-up. Now goes much better from Ireland. Long ball out towards James Lowe. Castaigne getting, well, he bounces off Castaigne and Big King on. That's a second go. Gets over the top. Bandiaki into the 22. Good start this from Ireland. Porter giving it to Crowley. Crowley on the bounce to Peter O'Mahony. But upright the tackle there was Ben White, looking to try and rip the ball. Gibson Park fires it out to Lamu, who had to turn. Ben White makes the tackle. Now down the left-hand side. A bit more structure now, Ireland. Porter now. Into the 22 he goes. Henshaw puts his head down, drops his shoulder. Gibson Park fires a flat to James Lowe. Solid tackle on him. Scotland defense was really good in the first half. Now short to Ty Furlong. Tackles the call on Nash, so they do release. Scotland have been trying to do that. They've been trying to hold up the tackler. They did that with Josh van der Fleer very well. And a penalty right in front of the poles, and I think they'll take it. Getting early points in the second half. Yeah, I think Ireland. At the moment, you know, it's about the Six Nations Championship. They just need 2 points. So just the victory is all they need. They don't need bonus points or anything like that. As much as I think they want to make a statement, you got to just steal a win first. Yeah, and they did take the 3 points. It's a good kick from Jack Crowley. So, Ireland extend their lead, 10 points to 6. Scotland with a quick kick-off. And it's turning it quickly. He's put it out on the full there. Big mistake that from Finn Russell. A wry smile. Long pass out from Gibson Park. And the kick ahead, but they go back for the penalty advantage here. So Ireland looking a bit better so far in this second half, and a couple of mistakes now from Scotland, allowing them back into the scrum, which is really frustrating if you're a Scottish fan. And they're going to the line now, so Ireland's starting to grow into the confidence, and I think all the momentum that Scotland had in that first half, they're kind of letting it slip a little bit, so we need to focus up here. I think if Ireland score now, I think Scotland will struggle to come back. Good work this from Scotland. Down the left-hand side they go. So I'm just trying to make sure. I think there's something issue with my scoreboard, but it seems to be working now again. Right, momentum here for Ireland. Down the right-hand side. Jack Furlong spinning away. Big moment in the game, I feel this. I think if Scotland can defend this, I think they'll feel a lot more confident. Ireland score here. And I think that could potentially be it for Scotland. It's a big tackle there coming from Robbie Henshaw. A lot of Ireland players on the right-hand side. They're Crowley. Good read that from Blair Kinghorn. Cutting out a bit of momentum, slowing things down a little bit. Scotland will be able to reset their defense. But there's a bit of space on the left-hand side there. Bundy Aki sees a half a gap, almost through. Bashes off one. Gibson Park, they're right up against it. It's gone through the hands. And turnover ball for Carl Steyn. But there was a penalty advantage, so they'll go back. Or was there knock-on? Offside penalty against Scotland. Decision time here for Ireland. Again, I'll take the 3 points and just keep building that lead. That's what I would do. Decision time, yeah. Potentially look at the scrum, maybe. I think Andrew Porter will be asking Marnie's back in the scrum time. Tap and go would make a lot of sense here. And given the fact that Tyke Byrne is going over to the ball, I imagine that is what is going to happen. In fact, Dan Sheehan now. So it is going to be a tap and go. Big moment this from Scotland. Short there from Dan Sheehan, as you can imagine. But it's all about the second phase, really. That's good defense so far, yeah, from Scotland. Piling bodies in there. Ty Byrne goes to fight Furlong. Furlong. He's lost it, I think. I think he's lost it. They're going to have a check here. The ball's definitely come out here. The question is, did he put it down and then lose it, or has he lost it over the try line? All right, let's see what the ref's having to say here. On-field decision will not be a try. No try, on-field decision. Finn Russell having something to say there. He didn't really appreciate it, saying that's enough. I'm not quite sure. Didn't see that aggressive. Right. The question is he got the ball there. Now he goes. Oh, I think it's a try. I think he's actually hammered it down. Has Tyke Furlong. I think he's lost in contact as it goes over. He reaches for the ball. Ooh. I think there's pressure there. If this was, I don't know, it's an interesting one. So Finn Russell just lodges the ball. No, I don't think it's actually Finn Russell. I think it could be Rory Dart who just lodges that ball as he's going down. This is a difficult call here. The ball's definitely over. That's fine. But it does initially look like he had control. But it is actually Finn Russell, I think. He just lodges it there. And see, the crowd saying, the crowd reckons a try. Of course the crowd reckons it's a try. I think there's enough downward pressure. I'll be very surprised this doesn't... Actually, I don't know. I mean, as I said, this angle over here, this is the interesting angle there because you see, he's got control. Then the hand comes in and his hand slips off it. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to be making this call. Yeah, I think it's fair. So the tries, the on-field decision was no try. I don't think that is a try. I think that the on-field, the ball is dislodged as he's going down. I don't think he's got clear control of it. That's a huge moment in the game. And it was shown on the screen, so you can hear the boos coming from the crowd. And look, Scotland have been on the end of some dodgy, some not dodgy, but some 50-50 calls throughout the championship. So I think they'll feel it's about time they got one themselves. I don't think it's try. I think that there is a hand there that dislodges it. So I think that's actually fair enough. Now I think again, if that was if the decision there was try, then maybe they might sit there and say there's not enough evidence to suggest that he's lost complete contact. So I don't know if the questions come into it that much. I think there's definitely a hand in there which just lodges the ball. I don't think that's come forward surely. So Tyke Furlong's having a bit of a tough time here at the moment. Wasn't really expecting that. The Ireland, yeah, but messy there. And Scotland will feel a big bounce from that, I reckon. You can see just dodging out the way there. It comes off the chest of Tyke Furlong. Right, replacement front row here from Scotland. Right, George Turner leaving the park. I'm a big fan of George Turner. I think he's quality. But two replacements there for Scotland: Ewan Ashman and Roy Sutherland. Sebastian remains on the bench, and I think I expect to see quite a big shift here from Xander Ferguson. Good player, Xander. British and Irish Lions tour in 2021. He played a test actually. Right, now what's Scotland cook it up down the right hand side. Blair King on. I tell you what, he's about to create a 2-on-1 situation. Can't get his hands free. Just up to the 22. Good carry that from Blair King on. Ben White throws it to Finn Russell. Finn Russell to Ashman, who smashed in the tackle, but he managed to ride the hit and spin and make a yard or two. Christie now. Christie slipping a bit of space on the bounce there. Goes to Jack Dempsey. Jack Dempsey still going to Jack Dempsey. And he throws it straight into the hands of Jamison Gibson Park. Turnover ball here, but he's been caught by his opposite number, Ben White. Good work that from Ben White, but it is turnover ball. Frustrating for Scotland. That was looking really, really promising for them. Jack Dempsey, I was initially such a good break. Had so many options that it thrown straight to Jamison Gibson Park. It's quite frustrating from him, but it goes all the way back to Crowder of his left boot, which is not his favorite boot. Yeah, doesn't find touch. Blair Kinghorn throws it inside to Finn Russell. Finn Russell eyeing up his options. Pops it to Duan van der Merwe on a stationary start. Duan van der Merwe in the middle of the park there. Just bashes it up. Ben White down the right hand side. Dempsey at first receiver. Now Finn Russell. Carl Steyn was lined up by James Lowe. He made the read. Now Xander Ferguson looking to try and get Scotland back on the front foot, but he's looking to try and be held up. He has got his knee on the ground there. Ball available for Ben White. Ashman. Nice carry from him. Now McDowell. Poor pass to Finn Russell. Yeah, I think that's a poor call as well, by the way. The forward passes in this game have been very, for me, questionable. I think that's backwards. And I think Finn Russell's getting a bit frustrated there. But poor from Stafford McDowell. No look pass. And just missing Finn Russell there. Tyke Furlong's getting a bit of treatment, by the way. Obviously, we'll be live again after this game for France versus England. That game getting underway at 10 o'clock. It's a bit of a late one over here. We've still got a good half an hour left in this game, though. So plenty of time. And I'd really love to see, I'd love to see a Scotland victory here. What it would mean for them to win the Triple Crown, for Ireland to have lost 2 games in the Six Nations, for example, after beating France so emphatically in that first game. We talked about the fact that last year was going to be the most competitive Rugby World Cup ever. I think it was. And I think the gap between the teams these days is not as big as initially thought. So Ty Furlong will be replaced here. I think it could be an HIA. I think he's going to go straight down the tunnel there. And Billy Beelan with his long locks comes on. I'm going to check on Twitter to see what everybody else reckons about that try decision. I think that no try was fairly fair. Huge scrum that from Ireland, and that's, I mean, cheapest Andrew Porter was about to run into the flickering crowd. Oh, that's a huge hit. Goodness me. Finn Russell has gone and smashed Jack Crowley just to go and say, how you doing? And there's no penalty advantage there, by the way. And he's on ref, he's on his knees. He's got to release. They're never released, Mr. Ref. They're never released. Well, Scotland have managed to hang on to that, but I mean, they've never released the ball, the ball carrier and counteract. They almost turn over the ball. Not entirely sure what Carly's doing there, but I would love to go see that. That was a bit of shithousing from Finn Russell. He absolutely hammers Jack Crowley, and then has a bit to say to him afterwards on the floor, reminding him, who the top dog is on the field. And Ben White will clear for Scotland. Not a phenomenal clearance. Ireland are still with momentum inside the 22. But let's have another look at this massive hit on Jack Crowley. But that scrum was huge. Absolutely folded. See, he gets there and they never release him. They never release him. And then they kind of go through the counter rack. I mean, before the racks even started and been formed. Yeah, I think that's really poor officiating. And James Lowe finding himself in the line-out. Plus, who's not in this line-out? It's a full line-out. Including James Lowe. I think Caelan Doris, I imagine, will be the one forward in the back line. That's been always, I don't know how he's managed to hold on to that Robbie Henshaw. Pick up and go from Josh van der Fleer. Pierre Schoeman coming across there. Carl Steyn, I think, almost had hands on the ball there. Joe McCarthy getting the ball fed away to James Lowe. Calvin Nash has to come inside. Calvin Nash does come inside. And he's just short. What a tackle that is. And he's lost it on the ground. And knock on. I'll tell you what, Scotland are hanging on by a thread, but they are hanging on. Just desperation at this stage. And it's Andy Christie once again. I think he's having a great game. Right, Christie's out, having an absolute storm of a game. And we have another reset here. Big scrum needed here from Ireland, but Scotland need to clear their lines here. Surviving just at the moment are Scotland. And I think this is to go in and out here from Ben White. Oh, no, a bit of counter shove there from Scotland. Nothing from Currie, though. Pick up and go from Jack Dempsey. Ben White being told to use it now. On behind a caterpillar rack. You will find touch. That's a decent touch finder, actually. Calvin Nash looking to take quickly and decides opts against it. He's gained 28.3 meters there. Right, McCarthy's going to make way, by the way, for Ryan Beard. Not a 6-2 split. So we've seen Ireland deploying a bomb squad tactic in the Six Nations so far, but not tonight. And it's, well, one back for Scotland. Xander Ferguson on a bit of a run. Goes then up to the halfway line. Good work this. And now pass to Finn Russell. Finn Russell goes to the boot. Goes down the right-hand side. Well weighted as well. He's immediately going to reply as Jordan Lama. Back to Finn Russell. Finn Russell looks, points to the skies. He lifts it high in the air for John van der Merwe to go on a bit of a chase. And he's pickpocketed that from Ryan Beard. That's very good work from Jordan van der Merwe. Scotland players need to arrive, though. Very good work that. Now, all of a sudden, a bit of momentum for Scotland. Bit of footy there. That's so silly from Xander Ferguson. Grant Gilchrist, ball in front of him, decided to let it hit his boot. And then Xander Ferguson jumping over, but then he's in front of the ball carrier. So to the penalty. Silly that. A quiet game so far as John van der Merwe, and not really been able to get into it as much as he'd probably like. Has he been replaced? I think so. Almost looked like he was walking off. Marnie, let's receive a bit of treatment, but is good to go. So just the 2 subs so far from each team. Ronan Kelleher, sorry, 3 subs now. Ronan Kelleher on as well. Calvin Nash has been replaced by Gary Ringrose. And does that mean Gary Ringrose has gone to the wing? I'm trying to work out who's gone where. Almost keeping that inside, though, was Blair Kinghorn, and they've gained 40 meters. Great kick that from Ireland. Right in the front stores, and I just don't know how much longer Scotland can... John van der Merwe. Almost keeping that ball inside. Ronan Kelleher goes to the front, goes to Peter O'Mahony. Penalty advantage for Ireland as they delayed bringing him down, and Scotland went too soon. So Gibson Park. How quickly there was Finn Russell. Inside ball to Gary Ringrose. Now Henshaw. Penalty advantage for Ireland. Ty Byrne. Josh van der Fleer. Good tackle for Finn Russell, showing his physicality today. And on the right-hand side, Beer goes to Henshaw. Henshaw to Crowley. Crowley ball over the top, and it's gone forward. They'll go back for the penalty. Ben van der Merwe and Bundyaki exchanging a few words. Comes across as a really nice guy, Bundyaki. And I know for a fact, from experience, that Ben van der Merwe is a very nice guy. So, yeah, a little friendly conversation between the two. They go back towards the line, do Ireland. They've got 5 minutes to try and make up. And this has been desperate defense from Scotland, who've been defending basically since the half-time break. Had one really promising attack. Had sort of a 2-minute period where they looked pretty good. But apart from that, they've been under a lot of pressure, Scotland. But they're hanging on at the moment, showing a lot of heart. The question is, how much longer can they continue to hang on? You see, now, the referee has just commented on the fact, and I mentioned that Peter O'Mahony was left in the air and didn't bring him down, and as a result, Scotland went early. So you've just told them that they can't do that, but you've penalised Scotland for what happened because they did that. So that, for me, is a bit weird. You know, you can't tell, you know, it's like penalising Scotland for being offside and then telling Ireland, no, it's a bad example. I don't think a good example here. Right, on the 5-meter line, yeah, we'll get back to this in a bit. We'll give them only more. I think it has collapsed here, to be honest. I think it's a very good defence here from Scotland. And Roddy Kelleher goes himself. Can we move away from the spider cam? This is an awful angle. I don't need to see a flip him overhead. That's what I want to see. Well, not really. I mean, it's the behind of Andrew Porter. It's pretty aside from rugby. But anyway, he goes himself, just short. Good defence this from Scotland. Ireland on the brink, though. That's a great tackle, that. Lost a meter or two there of Ireland. Pick up and go from Tyke Byrne. Really slow ball this year from Ireland. Pick up and go from Andrew Porter. Once again, good defence here from Scotland. Desperate defence from Scotland. Still going. Peter O'Mahony this time, the captain. Now gives the part. They're going to go to the back line. Bundyaki caught just short. Finn Russell was up nice and quickly. And he's lost it forward as Ringrose. Turnover ball here for Scotland. They continue to hang on to Scotland. This has been absolutely phenomenal from them. A bit poor that from Gary Ringrose, in all honesty. And look at the distraught on the faces of the Irish fans. Steve Tandy there, he's been animated all game, hasn't he? Scotland are in this game. They're still in this game with 20 minutes to go. They do trail by 4, but what a performance it's been from them so far. And we saw England snatch it at the end. Could we yet see the same thing from Scotland? Right, so scrum here for Scotland. It was a pretty decent one they had earlier, actually, after being blown away in that first scrum after the replacement to front rows for Ireland. But, yeah, it looked a bit better last time. In terms of subs, not too many subs on yet. Yes, just the 2 from Scotland, the 4 from Ireland. So they've unloaded more than half their bench. Penalty from Scotland, that's massive. That is absolutely huge. And it's Killer here who gets up and gets the chat from the referee. They wasn't particularly impressed. But Finn Russell will now be able to clear the lines, and Scotland will have the liner, which is the main thing. Chat Sports says, how many chances does Scotland need to hold on to this play now? Yeah, correct. They need to have possession. Greg Townsend unmoved. Steve Tandy, well, safe to say he's pretty into this game. Right, to Ben White's bit of place. So Scotland going with the rolling more here. He's pretty well set as well. That's number 20 on for Scotland. So a couple of subs, I think, for Scotland. Roy Dar's made his way off, and that'll be Matt Ferguson, who will see out the game there. Probably at the back. Let's go. Oh, it's a knock-on from Gary Ringrose. He's having an absolute mare. Turnover ball, though, for Scotland. Hugh Jones. Blair Kinghorn. Caught behind the line by Robbie Henshaw. Gets the offload away. But now it's been a bit of a breakaway. Has anybody got the pace to bring in Gary Ringrose? Joe van der Merwe has. Back into the 22. Ireland back inside the 22. Ryan Baird. And there's a penalty advantage here for Ireland. Oh, that's just so typical Scotland. Turnover ball. Knock-on advantage. And then they can't make it count. And all of a sudden, Ireland back inside the 22 with a penalty advantage as well. Crowley to Ty Byrne. I mean, I don't know how Scotland are still hanging on yet, to be perfectly honest. Henshaw. Gibson Park goes to Crowley. Lama goes to Doris. Great pick up from Marnie, then balls caught, and it was good work from him. Now going south to Gibson Park. The gap does close, but he's inches away from the try line. Another penalty advantage here, right in front of the poles. Big tackle there on Andrew Porter. Scotland physicality has been really impressive this match. You can tell you everything but finding a way to score at the moment on Ireland. This is proper defence from Scotland, but I surely this amount of time. $18 offside, so discipline now creeping in for Scotland. Henshaw! And they're going to have a look here. I think on-field decision could be tried this time. We're going to have a look over here. Yeah, I think it's going to be a yellow card for Scotland. On-field, no try. Right, so TMO's going to have to find evidence to overturn the referee's decision here. Yeah, I think it is held up. Cameron Redpath is underneath that ball there. He's done brilliantly there. Yeah, that's a brilliant work, Cameron Redpath. He's just come on, by the way. I think it's going to remain no try. I do, however, think Scotland might be going down to 14 men here. A lot of back-to-back penalties are creeping in, and I just don't think that they can really hold on for much longer. Definitely can't give that, especially the fact that the on-field decision was no try. Well, it's quite a big moment. Peter Marnie is making way, and we saw he was pretty emotional at the beginning of the game. The potential, I saw a rumor today that he might be looking to hang up his boots after this game, or at least, this year. So there's going to be a yellow card here to Scotland. The question is, who's it going to? Right, so no try. Ewan Ashman is going to depart. He's got a yellow card, but crucially, Scotland do manage to not concede a try there. And I tell you what, I think if I'm Ireland, I think I have to take the 3 points here, just because they can't score a try. They do. I mean, they're down to a man down, so you'd think, continue going. I would take the points, give themselves, a 7-point lead, and then to have 10 minutes at a 14-man Scotland. Kelleher taps and goes, and he switches it to Porter. I think it's try. They've awarded it. They're finally over. That could be the try that breaks the back of Scotland. It's Andrew Porter who eventually goes over. Sixth international try there for Andrew Porter. 64 caps to his name, the big Lou said. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ken Healing coming on relatively soon as well. But Jack Crowley kicking tee. I think they look to try and up the ante. Interesting, Craig Casey's been running the kicking tee the entire Six Nations, really. I really rate Craig Casey as well as a player. I think he's top class. Right, well, there it is. 17 points to 6, and a very, very big mountain to climb now from Scotland. I mean, it's a try. There's no doubt about it. You check from that angle. I just don't know how Carly sees it and thinks. I mean, what are you seeing? It is a try. I'm not saying it's not a try, but I'm surprised that he gave it so quickly because he was behind. Ben Russell, our RC reckons that there might have actually been an arm underneath the ball there. Right, well, Scotland have got to find something special here now. They're down to 14 men. Gibson Park gets the clearance away from the kickoff. And so Scotland will have an attacking line out. Well, it's outside the 22, so it's not that attacking, but still an opportunity for them to try and build. Problem is, now they don't have a hooker at the moment to do Scotland because Ashman's gone off. And that is Horn on, by the way. Matt Ferguson's going to throw the ball into the lineouts. And they go over the top, as you'd imagine. And Ronnie Kelly comes away with it. Yeah, probably because they can only bring on George Turner once there's a scrum. So Kyle Rowe, by the way, has come on for Blair Kinghorn. And immediately goes to the air and picks in a very, very nice catch under the high ball. Good start from him. Horn now fires it to Matt Ferguson. I think Sam Skinner's on as well. Looks like the full bench is on for Scotland. No, Xander Ferguson's still there, so no Jarvan Sebastian just yet. Right, and this lifted high in the air. It comes away. Scotland have retained it, actually, all knock-on from Scotland. It'll be a scrum here. Now they can bring on George Turner, so this is actually going to work out quite nicely for Scotland, because at least they can bring on George Turner, and they'll have somebody who can play the line out. Here comes Cian Healy. So there goes Andrew Porter. His Six Nations campaign comes to an end. And that's the end of Andy Christie's game. I was very impressed with him, though. I thought he did very, very well. Can have a reset here. Do. Free kick there for Ireland at the scrum. As we go into the last 12 minutes. Out on the right hand side, it gives Parker to the boot. Kyle Rowe underneath it. Got a nice big boot to Kyle Rowe. And that's into touch. Really, really poor for him. That you can't do that. You've just invited so much pressure onto your team. You're trying to get the ball back in there. Yeah, the annoying thing I think if he had landed it 4 meters towards the right, that could have been a 50-22. It was that big of a kick, but he's just gone straight into touch from an exciting young player, Kyle Rowe. But that's now allowed Ireland into back into Scotland territory with a line. Conor Murray comes on, one of the best players in the world you'd want, seeing out a close game. And Scotland, while they're going to have to score in the next few minutes, they are trying and get a win out of this game. They've offloaded most of the bench. Bit of a messy line out that, and come away from George Turner's come away with it, but a penalty against Scotland for knocking the arm is the call. Oh, I think that's a poor call. I think that's a very poor call. I tell you, I say that he's taking him in the air. No, the ball's already gone. That's a very poor call once again from the referee. He's not been, I don't think he's been fantastic today, unfortunately. And having a check here on sorry, Scott Cummings, who was dropped basically after that. Beaters conceded penalty to 193 meters, by the way. It's an interesting stat, but that sort of shows you how Scotland's discipline has really costed them in the second half. Far too many penalties. They've been under the cosh and just haven't been able to maintain the pressure that they had in that first half. All right, so 10 minutes up from the line, or 9 if you want to be very specific. Ireland and, yeah, one more try, yeah, and that'll be it. Still 3 minutes left on the yellow card for Scotland. So, bar a breakaway try, an opportunity to have the kickoff again. I think Scotland have got a long way to go. Good work there. Turnover ball. I mean, they've been so good at Scotland at absorbing the pressure. And I tell you what, as I said, if they were to get a result here, they'd really deserve it. A big moment there from Rory Sutherland. But Scotland need a moment. They need something. They've got 8 minutes to try and carve out an 11-point deficit. So they need 2 tries, 1 converted. 229 tackles made by Scotland, by the way. 20 missed, but 229 tackles made. And still 8 minutes remaining. Big scrum to come. Right, Horn going to jump on the move at first receiver. Now goes back to Finn Russell. Finn Russell needs to find a good clearance. And it's decent excellent for Scotland. Ireland will just take their time, run the clock down a little bit. Here, Scotland will be keen to get going. Just over a minute left of that yellow card as well. Good line at that. Go to Caelan Doris. Looking for the rolling more. Scotland. No, Benfica takes it out. Conor Murray first here. Fires it out towards Robbie Henshaw. He's knocked it on. Turnover ball here for Scotland. Finn Russell wants it. He's back in the pocket as the retreating Irish players. And he wanted it quicker than that. Crowley's got a bit of time. Right, Finn Russell points to the skies. Julian van der Merwe is going to chase. No, he actually wants to go himself as Finn Russell. Still going as Finn Russell. Up to his 10-meter line. That's Skinner on. Good carry from him. Little chip over the top. And it's great work there being done by, I think it's Ronan Keller here. So turnover ball. Now Harry Byrne is onto the park, and I think that's too far. No, just keeps it in his Carl Rowe. Good kick that from Harry Byrne. Scotland hesitant to kick there. 6 minutes left on the clock here. Carl Rowe filling in a scrum half. Got to score in the next 3 or 4 minutes. Ball's going to go to the boots. John van der Merwe will give chase. We've got a bit of time here. Does Harry Byrne. Looking to hold him up here. Crowley on as well, by the way. So I think Burns operating at fullback. Or Crowley could be at fullback, actually. And that's... Well, I'll tell you, initially looked like a good kick, but now it's going to be into the Gingold area. Finn Russell does not touch it down, though. Gives it to Carl Rowe. Carl Rowe seeing half a gap. Looked like a high tackle. It is a penalty advantage up for Scotland. Roy Sutherland now. Scotland will want that penalty. Although, will they? George Hall makes a bit of a break. Good offload that to Gilchrist and all the way back to Skinner. Finn Russell caught on the ball. Eventually goes back for the penalty. And Finn Russell's a bit sore there, I think. Gibson Park being named player of the match. Time is off. We're having a check here, I think, for potential foul play. I think it's on Finn Russell. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Harry Byrne could be in trouble here. He's very upright in the tackle. I think it's a head clash. Harry Byrne runs straight into Finn Russell. I think that's a red card. At the very least, a yellow card. So what was 14 point in time for Scotland is now going to be 14 for Ireland. All right, the decision here is there mitigation will be the question. George Russell goes to the boot. Got a kick from him. Up to the halfway line. Scotland got to really, they basically got to score in this patch of play so they can have a restart. Good line at that. Horn. And always Sutherland being used in the midfield. That's a good carry from him. Horn now goes to Carl Rowe. Carl Rowe popping up to Finn Russell. Finn Russell holding on and giving it to Carl Steyn. A good tackle came from Harry Ringrose, but Carl Steyn has made a meter or two. Scotland progressing nicely. Christie still going. Gilchrist. 10 meters. And popping up to George Horn. George Horn, look at the pace. He's eventually tackled by Ryan Barb. Into the 22 they go. Finn Russell throws it out towards Ewan Ashman, who's just come back from a yellow card. Big carry from him. Into the 22, Scotland go. Discipline now. Matt Ferguson. Now Sutherland made the initial carry in this pasture play. Christie now. Hugh Jones. Hugh Jones streaming through. And Scotland, he's going underneath the poles. The game's not done just yet. That is magic from Hugh Jones. He's got such subtle footwork. But jeepers me, that was good. The little shuffle inside, a little step away from the fullback as well. There's a reason he's got 17 tries and there's 48 caps. Bang, that little step in there from James Lowe. So good from... right, 13 points to 17. Well. A penalty's not enough. Scotland need another try, but I tell you what, if they play like that, we wouldn't bet against them. I wouldn't bet against them. Poor tackle that from Henshaw. And Doris not being able to compete. And then bang, the inside. Hugh Jones, what a player. Right, Currie with the restart. Going deep, as you'd imagine. Big carry that from Jack Dempsey. Bit of a stinger there, I think, for Gary Ringrose. Christie, that's a nice little deft touch from him. And goes through, does... Now, space. Hugh Jones, the man who started it all. All of a sudden, Scotland playing with a lot of conviction. Carl Steyn doing really well to get that ball off the ground as well. All available jump on the Merva. They left the ball behind there. Knock on is the call. Christie goes back. Well, that could be the game. That's probably the game, unfortunately. Unless they can find a penalty here, Scotland, I think that'll be it. Okay, so Harry Burns, the yellow card, or mainly yellow card. And on the left-hand side, Ireland go. The 30 seconds left. Scotland have got to find some sort of turnover here. Ireland will just keep things tight. And what a game this has been, though. Scotland will be devastated because I think they could have done something here. And there it is. Ireland are Six Nations champions. They hang on to beat Scotland 17 points to 13. What a game of rugby that was. Little bit too little too late, unfortunately, from Scotland. They defended so well. A heroic performance from them, really, but just not enough. And Ireland are once again Six Nations champions, back-to-back from them. And bouncing back the way they would have wanted to. Well, the main thing was a victory. Not maybe overly convincing at times. Scotland have definitely shown how tough a team they are to try and crack. But at the end of the day, this Ireland team are one of the best teams in the world for good reason. People, thank you very much for joining me. We're going to take a bit of a break, and we'll see you guys at 10 o'clock for England versus France. Hopefully that offers us a similar sort of spectacle. Please do smash like on the video on the way out. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve, and I shall chat to you guys all very, very soon.